Have you ever woken up to discover something odd going on around you? A thick, unusual fog covers your entire neighborhood, making sight difficult and the air seem heavy and stifling. This is actual life, right here, at this exact minute, not a scene from a science fiction film. Cities all around have been blanketed in this strange fog for the past 2 days. The most remarkable aspect about it is the unpleasant chemical stink it leaves behind. People from all over are speaking out, sharing weird tales and incomprehensible warning signals. Still, this issue goes beyond borders rather than one nation. This veil of uncertainty and terror is not limited to American cities. It is also engulfing other countries, including the United Kingdom. We should ask ourselves, is there anything about this phenomenon that seems not clear? Are we seeing anything that has never been seen before? And why are the major media outlets silent while the world is under crisis? Together, let's look at this unusual occurrence when the fog serves solely as the first narrative element. Let's explore the secrets buried beneath the surface and look at what might be a considerably more massive riddle than first appears. Subscribe right now to avoid missing this journey to uncover the truth they do not want you to know. Cities all around the world are reporting experiences with an unusual and unsettling type of fog that deviates from atmospheric norms. Covering metropolitan regions, this thick, unusual fog possesses characteristics that distinguish it from any other meteorological occurrence ever documented. Most famously for its very sticky character, the air around the fog smells strongly of a harsh, unambiguous chemical. Reports from many other continents are still arriving, and major cities are seeing similar phenomena that are raising growing concern among officials as well as people. United States witnesses claim that the fog is quite dense and that in some places, visibility is barely a few feet. People all throughout the United Kingdom are claiming comparable fog-related experiences. They claim that it is rare since it lasts for a long period and has peculiar traits that distinguish it from the typical weather they experience. The several health problems fog sufferers have reported are most alarming. People still talk about a range of worrisome symptoms that linger long after the fog has cleared, along with mild, moderate, or severe nausea that lasts hours after exposure. Many persons have severe sore throats that last for long periods. Many people say they have overall discomfort and body aches. Some people say they have extreme tiredness and trouble breathing. Medical experts all throughout the world have begun to carefully record events, and they have noted notable trends in the way symptoms are reported and progress is shown. These related health effects point to a shared origin, although their exact nature is unknown currently. Environmental scientists have begun to study the fog's composition to determine its origin and potential health and environmental effects. Local authorities in the impacted areas have implemented more stringent preventative policies, including motivating residents to refrain from outside activities when fog is present. During fog outbreaks, weather monitoring stations note hitherto unheard of readings. Large deviations in the composition of the air and the density levels, very different from the typical atmospheric conditions, can be found by advanced sensors. Scientific societies all around have been cooperating more closely as the phenomena persists and extends to other regions. Research teams from all around cooperate extensively to gather data, compare their results, and try to grasp this worldwide phenomenon. The unique qualities of the fog and its general frequency have led to an increase in financing for environmental monitoring and atmospheric research initiatives all around the globe. Public health departments keep working on recording reported instances and symptoms. To examine trends and changes in health effects, they are also building thorough data sets. The mysterious properties of the fog have spurred a great deal of scientific inquiry, whereby scientists use ever more advanced atmospheric testing instruments to investigate its elements and behavior. The fog has spurred towns to put up sophisticated adaptation strategies. Early warning systems they are building will let residents know when the conditions get more severe. The phenomenon has sparked major discussions on how climate change may influence global weather patterns, leading to an increase in funding for environmental monitoring and preservation initiatives. Researchers focused on atmospheric chemistry have seen odd trends in fog's behavior. Among these trends is the fog's propensity to strike suddenly and vanish in unanticipated directions. These findings have led to fresh ideas on atmospheric dynamics and possible connections between them and more general environmental changes occurring all around. From a range of angles, including its possible links to industrial activity, changes in the atmosphere, and worldwide weather patterns, the scientific community worldwide has amassed resources to examine this phenomenon. In search of the cause of this unusual atmospheric occurrence and a better understanding of the related mechanisms, research teams are still compiling and analyzing data. Investigating this remarkable atmospheric phenomenon, the scientific community has produced a range of hypotheses, ranging from natural events to more worrisome possibilities. The first studies mostly address special chemical interactions in the atmosphere. These interactions could result from the combined effects of undiscovered global weather patterns or industrial toxins all around. A few eminent scientists have begun to look into the prospect of undiscovered biological activity in the high atmosphere. They suggest that microscopic creatures could be influencing these strange circumstances and the air's makeup. Environmentalists are investigating whether there are any connections between the fog and fundamental changes in the chemistry of the atmosphere brought about by human activities in many other industrial sectors. Military experts have put forward a more troubling concept based on the likelihood of atmospheric experimental activities. They propose that the unusual chemical characteristics of the fog and the fact it emerged simultaneously on various continents could be indicators of coordinated actions. These experts underline past cases of atmospheric testing and emphasize the need to thoroughly investigate the present worldwide research projects. The mainstream media's limited attention to this phenomenon has sparked intense debate and conflict among the impacted populations worldwide. Although the health effects are well documented and several studies exist, mainstream news outlets are still covering rather little about the matter. Many individuals are wondering why they believe the media is not covering this, as public suspicion of information being hidden due to this seeming silence grows. Many environmental groups and independent research teams started their own studies because of major concerns about the possible execution of atmospheric testing projects. They underline the need for openness in current atmospheric research initiatives and draw attention to the historical predecessors of secret environmental investigations. These groups have begun compiling and distributing their own data, which has resulted in the development of substitute information systems for tracking and documenting events. Some thinkers see more severe possibilities, such as deliberate environmental manipulation, for a range of purposes. These ideas cover anything from sophisticated population monitoring systems to weather control experiments. Nevertheless, as of right now, no major scientific data supports them. The persistence of these theories suggests that the public is more concerned about the fog's cause. Though it acknowledges that the phenomenon is quite rare, the scientific community nonetheless gives gathering and analysis of confirmed data first priority. Research is still underway seeking plausible natural causes, including changes in world climate patterns never observed before, and atmospheric chemical reactions hitherto unheard of. Scientists emphasize the need to do thorough research rather than make quick judgments. Public health experts have stepped up to maintain accurate records of all fog-related events and health effects, thereby producing an ever more comprehensive database for future research. This material becomes more and more crucial when theories about the source of the fog keep developing and shifting. Medical researchers especially find long-term consequences of unknown drug exposure interesting, emphasizing the free sharing of data and discoveries across state boundaries. The worldwide scientific community has constantly argued for more transparency in all atmospheric research efforts. They emphasize the complexity of the problem and the necessity of distinguishing supported hypotheses from verified scientific facts. Continually researching weather patterns both before and during fog events are meteorologists and atmospheric scientists. They are searching for links that will help clarify the source of the fog. They underline the need for methodical inquiry instead of hasty conclusions regarding the cause of the incident, and they also respect the special character of their views. Independent researchers have begun looking at probable links between the fog and other environmental variables, including variations in globe temperature patterns, air compositions, and ocean chemistry. Their studies point to possible links between more general worldwide environmental changes and other factors. Citizen science projects have developed to identify and record fog events and their effects as public knowledge of them keeps rising. These grassroots initiatives raise important questions regarding official response and openness, as well as give vital data that clarifies the phenomena. The absence of definitive responses from official sources raises more questions about the government's involvement. Though many of these ideas are unfounded, they highlight popular demand for more knowledge and openness on the nature and source of the fog. Scientific monitoring stations all around the globe have recorded the unexpected links between the peculiar fog and several geological and meteorological events. Advanced weather satellites can spot ever more complex patterns that match fog arrival. These patterns involve significant shifts in the Earth's magnetic field, which impact global power and communication networks, thereby causing ripple effects across many modern systems. Solar activity monitors have documented strong and unusual solar storms during moments of peak fog. This implies that changes in the atmosphere and solar radiation could have some relationship. These storms produce strong electromagnetic pulses that interact with the Earth's magnetosphere in a hitherto unheard of manner. Scientists find it challenging to understand the connection between the Sun and the Earth in this regard. Research teams claim that the frequency and strength of these solar outbursts are higher than those of prior times. Unusual weather patterns are matching fog events. Therefore, they confound the predictions produced by accepted meteorological models. Unprecedented snowfall has covered desert areas, transforming arid landscapes into winter wonderlands, while regions that are typically dry are suddenly and catastrophically flooding. Rapid temperature inversions occur, and when fog develops, the current wind patterns veer off course. This produces complex atmospheric dynamics, challenging conventional wisdom. Academics from various disciplines have recently developed a keen interest in historical accounts and ancient writings that detail similar events. Given the state of affairs now, several cultural prophecies, especially those about times of darkness, are under closer examination with more respect to detail. Discussed in many civilizations and eras, the prophecy of the 3 days of darkness has drawn a lot of interest because of its apparent parallels to current findings and repeated occurrences in many cultural stories. Researchers of the atmosphere have observed that fog events coincide with ever rarer electromagnetic readings. This suggests complex interactions between unstudied atmospheric forces and the magnetic field of the Earth. These results suggest that some readings of the fog show connections between it and bigger geophysical changes happening around the world that are too big for the monitoring tools we have now. The fact that geological detectors are picking up more earthquakes and dense fog is a sign that there may be a link between what's going on in the atmosphere and what's happening inside Earth. Underground monitoring stations have recorded odd variations in electromagnetic fields during these activities. This implies that there could be a connection between atmospheric and subterranean processes, thereby undermining the geophysical models already in use. According to meteorological records, variations in jet stream patterns and fog events have a clear correlation. These developments are causing severe weather events all throughout the planet, which makes it challenging for scientists to project and replicate the temperature. The rapid variations in atmospheric circulation patterns suggest that hitherto unheard-of changes in global weather systems will occur. Historians and religious scholars have carefully examined old records detailing comparable atmospheric events. The phenomena occurring now and historical accounts of exceptional weather conditions have numerous parallels they have discovered. Covering a broad spectrum of civilizations and eras, these documents point to recurring trends throughout human history. These trends could reveal details about events occurring right now. Environmental monitoring systems find odd variations in water temperatures and circulation patterns, which marks fog events. These maritime anomalies seem to interact with atmospheric conditions in ways that current scientific models find challenging. This suggests that a more general planetary event is simultaneously affecting several Earth systems. Advanced satellite photography reveals that disturbances in the atmosphere arise and clouds become more complex and erratic prior to fog developing. These trends suggest that undiscovered elements controlling world weather systems and several levels of the atmosphere have complicated links. Current atmospheric science cannot fully understand some of the geometric patterns of the formations. Seeking historical antecedents for current events, researchers are rereading ancient astronomy records detailing comparable events in enormous detail. These studies document observations of the atmosphere and celestial bodies that bear many echoes of events occurring now. This implies that the history of the atmosphere of Earth might show cyclical trends. Working harder than ever, global research networks are gathering and evaluating data on these linked events so that scientists may determine how various geological, astronomical, and ecological events can be connected. Scientists understand that the present theoretical models are not always able to adequately explain these intricate relationships. This has resulted in calls for fresh paradigms to help one understand the processes of the Earth. Unique celestial events are reportedly happening more and more simultaneously, with fog outbreaks, according to astronomical observatories. Among these events are odd atmospheric illumination and surprise auroras. These findings suggest that variations in the atmosphere could link to cosmic radiation. Events observed revealed traits never recorded in present scientific knowledge. Many historical actions and observations seem to have recorded similar trends over time. Hence, indigenous knowledge systems and traditional ecological understanding are attracting more and more interest. These ancient writings often explain the connections and congruences with recent discoveries of the interactions between astronomical events, atmospheric conditions, and changes on Earth. The frequency and intensity of these linked events are still rising, suggesting that the process generating them might be accelerating. While ancient wisdom traditions offer several perspectives for understanding these changes on a planetary level, scientific teams all around the world are striving hard to grasp these links. These extraordinary and unparalleled circumstances call for communities all around to be vigilant and to act holistically in order to get ready. Local emergency response teams keep changing their suggestions. They underline the need to develop thorough home safety plans, which incorporate maintaining a sufficient supply of necessary goods and building robust communication channels for periods of low visibility or disruption of infrastructure. Medical authorities from all throughout the world underscore the need to meticulously document any unusual health symptoms and seek medical assistance immediately should one have a significant reaction to fog. Health groups advise you to keep up to date on the air quality in your area by utilizing reliable monitoring devices and to have several sets of protective gear on hand. Growing numbers of spiritual leaders and religious groups from many backgrounds see these events as signs of immense spiritual relevance. They underline the need for spiritual readiness and deep inner reflection in these special times. To seek heavenly direction and protection, as well as to foster a feeling of community, many religious groups have begun to schedule frequent prayer gatherings and meditation sessions. Different religions are finding important connections between current events and their holy books. This suggests that these events may have deeper spiritual meanings than we first thought. While overcoming these challenges, they underline the significance of maintaining a high degree of spiritual awareness and exhort their followers to regularly seek insight by prayer, meditation, and contemplation. Communities are increasingly encouraged to form social bonds and support systems because they know how important it is to stick together through tough times. Local support groups are still developing and expanding, providing vital information and resources as well as excellent emotional and pragmatic help to families and individuals affected. Spiritual leaders from all backgrounds exhort people to view these occasions as special opportunities for more understanding and personal growth. They argue that these challenging circumstances could be strong motivators for spiritual awakening and a fresh connection with a higher purpose, therefore demonstrating that good changes can occur even in the middle of uncertainty. Safety experts advise keeping careful notes of fog incidents and other unplanned events. This advances programs for community readiness as well as scientific knowledge. They underline the need to retain one's critical thinking ability and emotional balance under more unpredictable circumstances, as well as staying well-informed. Leaders of all religions worldwide are urging unheard-of harmony and cooperation among their many faiths. These world events, according to them, transcend personal opinions and cultural boundaries. By emphasizing both physical vigilance and spiritual awareness as complementary components of complete readiness, they underline the need to combine pragmatic preparation with spiritual readiness. Various wisdom traditions see these events as integral parts of more general cosmic cycles, suggesting that they could indicate significant changes in human consciousness and the condition of the planet. Encouragement for people to keep their hope strong and their inner peace deep while handling circumstances that are getting more and more unpredictable helps them to emphasize the need for spiritual resilience. People in communities are often told to find and keep a balance between being ready for the world and being spiritually aware, because in these uncertain times, people may need to be strong in both areas. Combining pragmatic assistance with spiritual encouragement and emotional support helps support networks in expanding their reach and capacity. sharing old wisdom on similar historical events. Indigenous leaders and traditional knowledge keepers provide advice on how to preserve peace with natural forces during times of enormous change. They underline the need to respect natural cycles while getting ready for perhaps revolutionary events. Teachers of meditation and spiritual practitioners have noted that in fog conditions, they have encountered more unusual events and increased intuitive awareness. This suggests a potential relationship between awareness and climatic conditions. They advise that to keep your inner self balanced and clear through these trying circumstances, you should constantly practice spirituality. Mental health professionals emphasize the importance of attending to your psychological and emotional well-being, even in such unique situations. To help you manage anxiety and build resilience, they advise you to mix regular spiritual or contemplative activities with pragmatic safety measures. Environmental stewards as well as spiritual leaders are urging renewed respect for natural forces. They contend that present events could represent humanity's will to rebuild constructive interactions with the systems of Earth. They forward the concept of combining spiritual knowledge with pragmatic environmental action. Community leaders underline the need for solidarity and mutual help and suggest that overcoming challenges in the future could depend on the capacity to cooperate and spiritual awareness. They encourage the building of resilient communities, ready for a range of events, by means of networks combining practical help with spiritual support. Thinking about what we have learned today evokes a sense of emotion within me. The odd events and signals we see in architecture are not haphazard happenings. They are like fragments of a more comprehensive picture that we are not yet able to clearly see. Still, I think every experience has immense meaning and is never a coincidence. We must remain prepared and fully utilize iOS. These events taught me the importance of seeing things from multiple angles instead of only the traditional ones. Though ephemeral, unusual happenings can be cosmic signs or teachings for us to apply. I really advise the person viewing this video to pay attention to even the smallest signals. Act no later than is absolutely necessary. Watch closely, hunt the truth, and keep your trust. We can be proactive in learning and getting ready, even if we might not completely grasp the matter. Show this film to your relatives and friends to inform them about the happenings in our surroundings. We can cooperate to expose the truth behind the cloak of mystery. To enable you to travel with us going forward, be sure you subscribe to the channel. Let your curiosity lead you to find the solutions the world has stashed away from you.